November 6th, 1985. In the heart of Colombia's capital, the Palace of Justice, a symbol of law and order, erupts in flames. Armed shadows storm the halls. Judges and officials vanish into the smoke. Over 100 lives are silenced in the blaze. The world watches in horror as an entire branch of government crumbles in a single day. Who could orchestrate such a devastating strike? A foreign power plotting invasion? A revolutionary army rising up? The truth was far more chilling. It was the work of one man. A man who had already bent a superpower to his will. But to understand how Pablo Escobar brought the mighty United States to its knees, why would a boy from a quiet Colombian town declare war on the world's most powerful nation? And how did he turn the tide in his favor? Pablo Escobar was born in 1949 in a modest corner of Rio Negro, where dreams were as scarce as opportunities. Raised in poverty, he watched his family scrape by. But young Pablo was different. Sharp, ambitious, unyielding. He started small, navigating the edges of the law, trading in goods that others shunned. Yet beneath that drive burned a deeper fire, a resentment toward those who held power from afar. As he grew, so did his vision. He saw the United States not as a distant ally, but as a giant casting a long shadow over his homeland. Through treaties and demands, America pressured Colombia to hand over its own citizens for judgment in foreign courts. Extradition, they called it, a tool to crush those who dared challenge the flow of forbidden commerce across borders. Pablo felt abandoned by his own government, betrayed by leaders who bowed to Washington. Obsession took root. He wouldn't just survive, he would build an empire that no force could dismantle. But could one man truly stand against an entire nation? The 1970s marked Pablo's ascent. He gathered allies in Medellín, forming a network that spanned jungles and oceans. They dealt in a precious commodity, white gold, as it was whispered, that flowed northward like a relentless river. Pablo studied the weaknesses in the system: porous borders, eager markets in American cities, officials whose loyalties could be swayed with silver or steel. He innovated, crafting hidden pathways through submarines beneath the waves and planes slicing the skies. Billions poured in, transforming him into one of the world's wealthiest shadows. But wealth wasn't enough. Pablo craved influence. In 1982, he stepped into the light, winning a seat in Colombia's Congress. There, he championed the poor, building homes, schools, fields where children could play. The people called him Robin Hood, yet behind the smiles, his motive sharpened: to block the extradition treaty that loomed like a noose. The United States, alarmed by the flood overwhelming its streets, declared a crusade against such trades. Billions funneled into enforcement agencies, agents dispatched to Colombia. Pablo felt the net tightening. Betrayed by politicians who once accepted his gifts, he grew furious. Abandoned by a system that favored foreign demands over its own, he vowed revenge. He would expose the hypocrisy, force the giants to falter. But how far would he go to protect his freedom? By the mid-1980s, Pablo's empire supplied the lion's share of America's hidden cravings, 80% by some accounts. The US government, humiliated, ramped up pressure. They backed Colombian forces, hunting Pablo's operations with unyielding force. But Pablo struck back, turning the tables in a way no one anticipated. He funded shadowy groups to disrupt the order. In 1984, a key minister pushing for extradition fell silent in a tragic ambush. Then came the Palace of Justice. Allegedly, Pablo orchestrated the assault through intermediaries, aiming to erase records that could send him north. The building burned, documents turned to ash, and the Colombian judiciary reeled. The world pointed fingers at rebels, but whispers grew. Could this be the hand of one man? Undeterred, Pablo escalated. He offered to settle Colombia's entire national debt $10 billion from his fortunes in exchange for amnesty. The proposal stunned leaders in Bogota and Washington. Here was a figure mocking the superpower's efforts, proposing to buy his way out of their grasp. When rejected, the response was swift and shadowed. Bombs echoed in the streets, targeting those who supported extradition. A presidential hopeful's flight ended in catastrophe midair. Judges, police, politicians, over 1,000 voices hushed in the chaos. The United States poured resources into the fight, forming elite units with Colombian allies. Yet Pablo evaded them all, hiding in plain sight, protected by a web of loyalty and fear. He built his own sanctuary, a luxurious retreat disguised as a prison, where he lived like a king under surrender. The government agreed, fearing more unrest. For a time, Pablo had won. Systems faltered, secrets spilled, and an entire nation questioned its alliances. But in victory, the shadows deepened. What if the hunter became the hunted? The illusion shattered in 1992. Whispers of rivals, the Cali network, possibly aided by American shadows, grew louder. Pablo fled his gilded cage, vanishing into the urban maze. The US intensified the pursuit, deploying technology and agents in a relentless chase. Paranoia gripped him. Every ally could be a traitor, every shadow a threat. For over a year, he dodged capture, but the noose tightened. On December 10, 1993, in a Medellín rooftop, the end came suddenly. Surrounded by forces backed by Washington, Pablo fell. The world sighed in relief, declaring victory in their long crusade. But the fallout lingered. Colombia mourned thousands lost in the strife. In America, the flow of white gold slowed, but never stopped. New players rose from the ashes. Pablo's legacy haunts like a ghost. His methods inspired waves of unrest, challenging governments long after. The United States spent fortunes, yet the hidden trade persists, a testament to one man's defiance. Did he truly defeat them? In the chaos he unleashed, and the doubts he sowed, perhaps he did. But what if this was only the beginning? What unseen forces continue his shadow dance today?